and this confidence that you can tell he's just always so certain of his decisions, and it's really, really impressive.
Under priority in a cavern, spelunking his way through another drainer. And without priority, he's got to be the most dangerous athlete on tour. 8-point ride into maybe a bigger score right there, Flick.
Oh, that's got to be bigger than the 8 for me. I mean, that was a bigger wave. Thinking back to this morning, I think it was Kelly. He will just have a look at this one. This is Gabriel. I mean, look how far forward on the board he had to shift his way because he was so deep on that thing. I mean, look, yeah, he's calling it. But look at this. I mean, right here, he's so far forward on the board. There is so many weaves that he's done in that barrel, so many pumps down the line. He rode the foam ball for so long. This thing was insane.
I don't think he could have gotten much deeper. You saw how like he was on the foam ball for pretty much the whole wave until he came out. And that's what's so difficult about Teohupo'o is it just the foam ball really bucks you. You know, you saw Jake Marshall getting bucked off. But I don't know. In my opinion, it's got to go close to a 10 because honestly, the 8 was in comparison, you know, I think like there's 2 points extra there for sure.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think that was just so well done. And
now, I mean, she got the exact score to get her out of combo. Now she needs a 10, but straight back out with priority and into this wave,
oh, my! Deep one for Weston-Webb. She comes out. She comes out. She needs a 10-point ride to turn the heat.
Wow.
Wow. What are we watching, Flick?
that was absolutely insane. You could just see how excited she is, like splashing raw water. Coach there as well.
Take a look at it. Break it down for us, Ryan.
Yeah, super late and kind of knifes in, and then the wave just keeps going, fully disappears and comes out around. Unbelievable surfing. Like, the commitment was insane. Wow.
How's the water angle, Flick? Just the feeling that you get.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, she was so deep. Look at this takeoff, up underneath the lip, drives through that second section, comes flying out, and for me, it's there.
It's perfect in my eyes.
It is. I see it. I see it. I mean,
they can be pretty brutal though. But
look at that takeoff.
It's insane.
I mean, how critical was that? Half her board, she like really got on that toe side rail.
Super deep. I mean, to have that west bowl come, the wave hit perfectly outside, and she knew it was going to do that. You could see how excited she is on her face. Like,
believable. Another look here, Flick.
Yeah, let's have a look. You can see her kicking. She's paddling so far. She wants that early entry into this one. Knifes it straight down the line. See how deep she was here. She traveled through that one. She had to weave a few times just to make sure she made the exit. This angle right now, I just love to see it. We get to really see how deep she is. You can see she's pumping. She's threading this one down the line. That section broke in front of her. She's on the foam ball, riding out in front of it. As soon as the ball gets stuck on the foam ball, it is so challenging just to navigate it. It's like riding a bucking ball, right? Like, she takes off, she weaves down the line. You can see how shallow and beautiful it is. That section, you see her riding on the foam ball, shoots out in front of it. That was so well done. Just beautiful, beautiful surfing from Vahine. Just so technical. That's probably one of the most technical barrels we've seen all morning.
And the best number that she's received as a wild card out here, a 9.33. The local absolutely flexing. Waited a long time because she knows this lineup better than anybody. Was ultra deep over the foam ball. How about this angle from the water?
Oh, this thing was just so crazy. So excited to see it. It just, for her to weave through that section, that one broke in front of it. It produced a foam ball. She hit it and she rode out in front of it.
That was crazy.
Look at replay here.
Start here, intensity on the takeoff, deep, coming out with open arms, just as wide as a wave get, that tall. Beautiful surfing right there from her. And you're thinking like, wow, now she's sitting on the front. Beautiful technique. See her arms guiding her, strider frothing on the channel.
But this is interesting. This was a difficult, she got a little cavitation right there on the takeoff and was able to push through.
Yeah, that wave just came with a lot of energy and it held just enough to hit the.
Here we go. Sawyer Lindblad drops into this one. Gets in the barrel, spin out for Sawyer Lindblad. That's what she was waiting for.
Are you kidding me?
That's what she was waiting for.
Once again, as coming from backdoor, That was impressive. We were looking into a very good score.
And then this, Jesse.
Even more intensity, taller wave. Going through the foam right there with the spit. I mean, that wave has to be close to Vahine's score because the intensity of that drop had, starting with the spit already, getting very deep and coming out. That was beautiful.
Actually, that score coming out there eclipses Vahine, Fierro, Sawyer Lindblad with an excellent 9.43. Strider, your vision on that?
My vision on that was absolutely incredible. I want to talk about the facial expression of Sawyer Lindblad after she rode through the foam out of the spit and was still standing there, and she looked out at me and she could not believe that she was still standing on her surfboard.
His foot and a good start.
Ramzi answering back to Goofy Foot out of Morocco, finds a cone and comes out of that thing.
And we're seeing here Ramzi's wave. That was a beautiful, look how deep he got, how wide that wave was. Came out just after the spit, so the judges are going to take notice of that. But right here, 1, 2, 3 pumps, setting up into that foam boat going through. That was a strong foam boat. He just had to muscle through it. That felt good. That's why he was frothing. Look at foot. The back foot is in front of the pad right there. That just show how much foot control and how much the surfers like to move their foot forward when they're riding the barrel to give that extra stability when they're going right there through the foam bowl. You have more foam in the middle and towards the second half of the board, so moving your foot forward just gives you that stability and makes it a little bit easier for you to go through that tough sections of foam bowl.
All right, do we have all the numbers in? We sure do. A 5.17 for Barron. Mamiya, that's a keeper. 6.67 and 4.93 keeps Liam O'Brien in the lead. Here comes from Arcal coming back. Got a long wall. In front of him and it comes out. That was magic. Wow. That's when you lose words on the commentary right there, Carissa. That was absolutely, that was a long section. Completely disappeared.
And he does feel like he erased that one that he didn't make. So feeling good. Ryan Callinan back at it.
That is incredible. We're going to take another couple looks at this, Carissa.
That was just incredible. I think those are obviously the highest scores is when we're all surprised.
Just came through the foam ball. Jesse, we're going to take another look from the water angle.
Yeah, some guy's having a look and he just snuck that one under. And just as Strider mentioned, like the wave previous, it was just as good, if not better than this one. And he kind of got caught. But look at the tube monster right there. He's completely disengaged the fins right there. He was like sliding sideways and somehow engaged the rail again and came out. He was like shocked that he made it. That's how deep he was. And just making sure he was paddled to the metal the whole time. Huge pump right there. As deep as you can get. This is, yeah, massive, massive for Brian.
Massive scores to vaults into the lead with a 9.1. One judge goes 9.5. Throw away the 9.5, the 9-point ride. Average the 9.3 and the 2 9s. You get that 9.1 and a big lead for Arcal. Those are the moments that we love here.
That's interesting to see. It looks like Kanoa way on the west pole is going to get a nug.
Oh, a nug it is, and he comes flying out with the spit. Kanoa Igarashi. So a nice start for Kanoa coming into this event number 8. Kanoa coming into this event number 9.
The wider guy with no priority just sneaks in a perfect west bowl barrel coming out with the spit. And what do you say? Like, it's just different. It's a different sport. Look at that. Nice pump. Going into the fumble. Just that perfect timing just in front of it where it lifts your tail and it brings the speed downwards. And that was amazing ride from Kanoa. It's going to start with the right foot forward.
Yeah, I like your take on that. As we see in slow motion, you know, one of the most beautiful but complicated playing fields in all sport. Just the Wave, the championship tour.
How do you explain those things? It's just surfing. It's amazing. Beautiful car from him right there, just going down line, engaging those fins and that rail. Just to get a little bit of exclamation point. Look at that watercolor. It's just a beautiful Tahitian wall, and a little bit deeper as we see it right now.
Johanne gets a pump in there, pulling up on the rail, gets through that section, and that is going to change the complex of this entire heat. That's going to be the breakaway wave and the breakaway score for Johanne Defay. First impression, Vahine, of that wave. Look at this, Jess. Check out this pump into them.
That's exactly like you nailed. That first bump is what set up. Like, as you saw, that wave was kind of underneath and very west, so it kind of kept running all the way into a closeout. So she barely had any time to doggy door. But that first bump, she brought her board all the way up, brought the front knee into her chest, giving that leverage to get that good drive, and going through the fumble right there, just in front of it. And right here, the wave was closing out. Just snicked the perfect timing, perfect read on that wave. That looks excellent in my eyes.
This was an extremely technical barrel ride where we see this on the replay, and Johanne having to change her angles of the board throughout that barrel and then sneak out a doggy door. Vahine, talk to us about this.
Yeah, her progression the last 3 years has been insane. Like, every year she comes back and better, and the way she read that wave, like how she timed, you know, when she got up.
Right there, just providing, and that was awesome.
Priority with Tyler Wright. Here she goes. She uses that priority. Gets to the bottom, yanks up on the rail of her own. Right in the barrel. Tyler comes through with the spit, and she answers straight back. And feeling good with that barrel completion into kicking out the channel.
As you see it right there, it's like doubling up under her. She almost airdrops, pull up high, gets deep, and comes out with the speed. That was so technical, very hard to do. Maybe not as deep as Johanne got on her heat, on her wave, but definitely a taller wave. And I mean, both were pretty amazing rides.
Yeah, that was very technical. She went higher and came out with the spit and looked stoked too, so.
Love the water angles that we're getting here to round out our replays, as well as our slow motion angles, and just the giggles in the channel once you get through. Here's a slow motion look at it.
Look at, she gets very high after that bottom turn because there's so much water pushing her up, and then as soon as she gets high, she almost starts to catch her body into it. She starts to go.
I'm looking for the good waves. Oh, come Tati, sorry.
Tati pulling in, and she will make it out. How about that? And our Brazilian makes the exit. Our Brazilian on the call is clapping. Shumbo excited with that one as Caroline Marks grabs her jersey, showing that we're moving right into semifinal number 1 after this.
Right behind her was Tati. This was a super late drop. She pulls up underneath the hood there and comes out with the spit of that tube. But this wave had a lot of size in it, but she did so well with that drop. I mean, it was really critical. It was really late, and that's going to feel good for Tati. I mean, talk about commitment levels there. I mean, it's just 100% commitment. You can just see, I mean, and I love how she's just building throughout this heat. It's really, really good. But for me, I mean, I want to talk more about Tyler's last wave. I feel like technically on her backhand, she did a really good job at grabbing that rail, and then with her back arm just like really wrenching it into the face of the wave. Her back arm, and pivoting really well. So I feel like it was a really technical barrel. Tati, on the other hand, I feel like a lot of her points are going to come from her takeoff and just how steep and critical that was, and her ability to get up underneath the lip. So really nice contrast there between the two waves.
In these situations. And Vahine, since she did not take that first wave, we'll get back to those rules, because let's talk about surfing. And Vahine Fierro in the barrel, traveling through that section. One more section for the Tahitian. Wow. And that is what she does over and over again. Flick, amazing.
Oh, I mean, Ryan and I were both looking at each other. I mean, it was amazing, right? Such a beautiful read on that wave.
For error or success.
Talk us through this, Ryan.
Yeah, as you see, it was a really south wave, and then hit the end bowl, the west bowl at the end, and you could see she did so well to pump up and then stall when she saw that she was kind of coming through to really maximize the time in there. Nearly a little slip there, but held on so well. She just seems to be able to read it all so well.
Yeah, another look from above, Flick.
Just hats off. I mean, especially after starting a heat by getting caught inside. I mean, having to reframe like that is pretty impressive. I mean, she took a beating because the next couple of sets, they were big and they were thick. I mean, we saw the replay when Strider was talking
I mean, we just saw her feet just getting under those waves. I mean, it's a lot of water moving now, even more so in this last 30 minutes. So, I mean, to regain there, reframe, and then, you know, convert with a wave like this, really, really well done from Vahine. But, you know, back to Tati's first wave, I honestly feel that it's always going to push those boundaries, surfing, personal boundaries. I mean, the limit is always going to be pushed. And here we go. We have another paddle right now, Vahine.
Vahine Fierro deep on the reef here, deep in a cavern. No problem again for the Tahitian. She is going to back up that 8-point ride, and the locals out in the channel are absolutely howling.
Well, I mean, let's have a look at this. Perfect positioning once again. She's pretty deep on this one. You can see how fast she was flying down the line. And, I mean, beautifully backing up that 8-point ride. But she just does so well. She's just got the perfect read on this wave. That wave stayed so open and still big in size as well. But I was chatting to her the other day, actually, before she came into the booth, and she was just saying, I mean, I was kind of asking her, you know, everyone's talking about the forecast, like we were saying before, you know, how big is it going to be? And I was like, you know, will this be the biggest you've surfed out here? And before, obviously, rocking up today, we didn't know exactly how big it was going to be. But she said, yeah, it's going to be at the limit of where I've pushed my surfing out here. And she's like, of course, I'm super excited, but I'm also pretty scared. I mean...
Here we see Vahine.
Vahine still not out of this.
And that could be it,
And
too.
Vahine comes out of that barrel. Now, mind you, Vahine Fierro needs an 8.01 to take that lead off of Tatiana Weston-Webb. The fight back from the Tahitian right now. She was put in a corner with a perfect 10.
What a heat. Such quick succession, like she pumps deep into the barrel, super deep, disappears with the spit. That's an incredible ride too. Like, go.
Oh, for me, that's better than her 8s.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
it is.
Yep.
Weaving in there, in and out, changing the line multiple times to avoid that foam ball. Take another look here, Flick.
Yeah, this was beautifully done. Under pressure, she knows she needs a score. And you know what? I mean, there was a couple of little mistakes made by Vahine here. I mean, her mistakes is what caused Tatiana to be able to get back in this heat. But, I mean, firing back.
Vahine Fierro will not be denied a place in the final. She fights back for a 9.63, takes the lead.
Vahine getting past Tatiana Weston-Webb in a battle to make this final. Ocean's starting to draw off the reef. Local wild card wants it. Nice section to drive through. Vahine comes out of another gigantic barrel on her home break. And that effortless style is so easy to watch.
The difference with Vahine, obviously she had so much experience out here, but it all comes down to where she positions herself. Not once she's already taken off. The work's done before she even takes her first paddle. It's the position into the wave which allows her to get so deep. You know, we've seen a few of the other ladies who just don't have as much experience, but it's all about that positioning before she takes off. I mean, she got incredibly deep there. She sits right in front of that foam ball. So just a perfect read, in my opinion. I mean, it's just so well done.
It's all about that positioning and timing and making it look so easy. Never looks like she's ever out of control. As you see that wave going below sea level. And then the stylish wild card out to safety again. Her strike rate has been unbelievable throughout this event, and especially here on finals day. Excellence from the panel, an 8.5 to go with her 6.67, putting world number 1 in a combination with over 20 minutes to go.
Right behind him, look at the draw off the reef on this wave for Houshmand. Houshmand off the bottom, big cavern, over the foam ball for the completion. Houshmand. Absolutely loving it, Jesse. And obviously he did his homework. Here he is in the replay.
Are you kidding me? That's so deep. Like hardly ever you can get deeper than that on that big of a wave out here at Chopo, because the tube monster is going to eat you alive. That big pump, second one, just hanging on to dear life. You see him holding the wall pretty much with his left hand right there. See that big pump into a second one right there. The foam ball is going to get him, and he holds himself with the inside hand, and I mean, barely hanging on to his toes right there. That was so incredible from Cole, and what a beautiful wave he found. And as deep as he gets, this is going to be a massive score for him.
Getting over that troubled water, getting over all that foam right there.
Boy named Zen Robinson. Watching his dad compete now, driving to this one, Yago, Dora, this one stretched out beautifully, and how about the stylish look back? That one felt good for the Brazilian.
And you can see these bigger waves, they draw off the reef so nice. That was a real butter drop there for Yago. And, you know, I want to give Yago props, too. He's been one of my favorite surfers on tour for the last couple of years. He's so high level. He's got good style. He's really good in the air, and he's a great barrel rider. So he's going to be knocking on that top 5 for, you know, for the next several years.
I love that. I mean, the way he came out with so much style there and grace was really cool too.
Great addition of the WSL vault. Back to live action, grabbing the rail on the takeoff. Jack Robinson with room to move out into the channel once again.
Let's have a look at Jack here. Grabs a rail and just cleared that first section. Shorter barrel again, but then you contrast it to, he will have breakdown this one here again, but just hypercritical there on that first section. But his, wow, and he rode the foam ball there for a bit as well. But
he's so funny. Did you see the little drama? He got his hand up on the lip there.
Yeah.
He does remind me of Kelly that way. He really does know how to ham bone it. And you can see, watch his left arm right there. That was for the judges. But he did touch the foam ball.
You're calling this off. We're going out there anyway. And it kind of put him in a position to say, okay, contest is on. Good luck, everybody, as we continue with Yago. Dora, another big make right out in front.
Under priority.
Yeah, that was huge. 2:10 to go. He's feeling like it's enough.
He's on the ledge. So he paddled up. That's brilliant from Yago. His dad would be psyched on that strategy there. Very sneaky. So he paddled deep and up on the reef. That's on the ledge right there. And the cool thing about these waves on the ledge is they're very boxy. It's going to hit right there, bottom out. I'll watch it underneath his board. It's going to get pretty hollow right about here. So you get a longer barrel. And the judges love longer barrels because it's pretty unique at Chopo. You get a lot of short barrels, but this one has some time in there.
Well positioned. Entry into this wave for Yago Dora under priority. And we'll see if he can flip this one on Jack. A rematch from last season. Also Sakurema, he'll be able to defend his title there. Can't wait to see him at Cloud Break as we look at lobby start. What a great read on his opening ride flick.
Oh, what a meaty wave this one was. And look, he grabbed the rail at the end, but the way he threaded that barrel was just basically one big pump underneath the lip here. Grabs it just to hold on while he connects with that foam ball. But I mean, that was seriously well done, and sort of reminds me of the kind of wave Jack was searching for in that last heat. You know, it wasn't necessarily the longest barrel, but...
And let go of your own, stand up. Judges love it. I'm sure frontside they love that control. Letting go right behind him, though, is Liam O'Brien. The shootout continues. Backhand versus forehand. Ramzi getting his best so far, and Liam backing up the 8-point ride.
Stand tall and get a big pump into the barrel. Right there, he actually grabbed his rail and then let go, but he touched that foam ball. So this wave was a little more, you know, heavy, and I think that could give him the nod.
I agree. I feel like this had a lot more intensity to it, and the technique, the couple of pumps he had to do. I mean, this lip was so thick, you could just really see all that energy, and I think, you know, it was apparent when you bring up that point, Ross, it's really apparent when we're watching Ramzi's. I mean, it's beautiful.
2:10s at the start, and when it's a tiebreak, some judges have John winning. It was one of those classics as we go into another gigantic pit for Ramzi. He's letting it all out. Unbelievable approach there in this heat. One of the best waves we've seen all day.
Heavy drop there for Ramzi. Oh my God. What else do you want? The drama. That thing was classic Chopo right there.
Oh my goodness. The Moroccan showing the world what he can do, Flick.
Wow, I mean, you could drive a bus through this thing. I mean, look how big that cavern is right there. And he just did so well. I mean, that's the most energy I've seen from one wave today. It was insane. I mean, think back to, I mean, Cole had an amazing wave, similar, lots of energy, but for him to stay on his feet there was incredible.
If you know, if Ramzi has any back hair.
And when you look at the reef at Pipe and Tahiti, they look completely different as well. It's fun to put a mask on at both locations when it's flat and check it all out. This reef is alive, and we got Liam O'Brien looking for an 8-2. Grabs the rail. Let's go. A couple of big drives.
Wow.
Comes out hands free and will slide out on the shoulder.
Knifey drop right there and a couple of pumps. Again, he's doing everything right. This is a big set wave again. It's going to be splitting hairs for the judges. They're going to really try and pay attention to how long he's in the barrel. But a lot of times you'll get backsiders maybe get one big pump into the barrel when they're deep, but that was 2 pumps from Liam. So the judges are going to love that. I mean, this is the heat of the men's event so far. This is a crazy battle.
And still with a minute 45 on the clock here. Ramzi with priority as we check out another great view of the channel. Liam chasing an 8.2 and judges taking their time.
He's just sitting out there. All this time has gone by. He needs a giant number, 9.33. Here he goes. This could be it. In the pit with the spit and coming out. Just is going to make a heat for us. Just in time and enough time on the clock. If he doesn't get that 9.33, certainly straight back into the game.
Very late on the takeoff right there, getting some air under the board, and look at that extra section coming out after the spit, which that's just should put in a notice that how deep you were in that wave. Going through all that turbulence, the board was just shaking, and that was intense. Look how much the wave bends at you here at Chopu. You can really see on this angle, it makes you appreciate how crazy of a wave it is, and this is going to be a big score for Jake Marshall.
Oh my, talk about patience, composure, and execution by Jake Marshall. He showed us all 3 of those characteristics with that ride, and he's right back in this heat.
And the South African getting started, but he's still underwater, just popping up. Mamiya's on this one. Bottom drops out. He takes a higher line and is standing tall for the exit. And Matthews taking that one on the head.
My goodness, Barron just got absolutely coned on that thing. It was incredible. I mean, just the casualness to his approach here. I mean, there's nothing casual about this wave. But just look at the ease that he just sticks through there. Oh, wow. Okay, so he actually grabbed the rail there. I thought he actually obviously grabbed it at the very beginning. He releases the rail just so that he can get that pump in down the line, and then had to grab it again. So incredibly technical barrel here from Barron, and just demonstrating exactly what we've been talking about.
This is exactly what Barron wants to do for the rest of his life. Take off so late. This is the new school, the new modern day update of backhand. Keep going, Waz.
Oh, Crosby. No hands. Grabs the rail, comes flying through the section. Beautiful work for Crosby, looking really comfortable out here. This is going to be a heater now that it's getting started. Let's hope for some back-to-back waves. I mean, this is fun.
Behind him was Crosby, second wave of the set. And this one, because it was a second, was a bit cleaner because that first one had come through, and it was just drawing off the reef. You can see that this one had a different intensity to it. I feel like that the difference was the wave, right? And for me, Seth was maybe slightly more technical, but Crosby so deep, coming from so deep. And there has been crazy wipeouts out here over the years. I mean, we'll get back to that in a sec. Looks like Seth
putting his head down, controlling it, let go of the rail for a moment, then pulled a little bit higher to avoid the foam ball. What a read for the Hawaiian. And steps off into the channel. Incredible barrels. They went right into a paddle for priority. Let's start with Seth's wave here.
Yeah, great read by Seth, and really good read to just draw that high line as he was coming out of this barrel, just to avoid that foam ball section. Little re-engage with the rail there, and just, I mean, it was like riding a bull, bucking bull. That thing, it almost bucked him straight off his board. He did so well to hold on there. So much strength in the legs, the core, arms, everything. I mean, this was just really well done. A little re-engage with the rail there, and little pump whilst holding the rail, also really difficult to do. Drives through this section, and then he hits a little lump here. It's like the foam ball propels him forward, gets this extra bit of speed, and he almost loses it. So it's kind of like that by default pushed him really high, and he ended up having that super high line there as he was coming out. But yeah, great read by Seth. I mean,
Crosby's already answering, draws off the bottom incredibly deep, and comes out of another cave. Brilliant performance from Cros, right next to his buddy, and going right into an aggressive paddle.
Thicker, drawing more water off the reef. it was a shorter barrel, but in terms of wow factor and the way it makes you feel, this made me feel something. It just made me sit up a little bit straighter. It's just so interesting, right? Like different types of barrels and the way you can slice and dice it and dissect it. But oh, that thing was just insane.
I mean, how critical it was, how thick it was. They want you on the heaviest waves, and I totally feel your reaction to that exchange, slowing down that last bit for Crosby.
Yeah, wow. I mean, look at the lip above his head. I mean, that thing is so thick. It's about 1 meter thick. You've got to be putting Kelly, highly, because here we go. I'll get back to that, Ethan.
Ethan again, this one deeper, driving through this barrel, second section for Ethan Ewing, and that is building upon his performance here. Ethan Ewing kicking out there, and looks like he's visibly got some an impact suit on as well for extra safety and flotation.
So super deep on this one. He got a lot of travel time done, and it'll be really interesting to see just how deep he was from the water angle. I mean, it was really beautiful way to back up this 5, 6, 7. You can see him grabbing the rail, and as he's grabbing that rail, he's also pumping down the line. So he was pretty deep too. It was a really technical barrel. There was a lot going on inside, as well as being pretty deep, and he got that travel time too. So I'd say this is definitely going to be better than his 5, 6, 7. And once you grab that rail and having that technique to be able to pump in the barrel, it's not an easy thing to do. So he has got that on lock right now. You can really visibly see it right there. There was 1 and then 2 pumps. I think another third happened right there as well. So he's adjusting his line a couple of times there. Really, really well done.
On the rankings, still in competition. Number 3, John still in competition. We'll get back to the rankings because Kelly's on a bomb. Big roomy barrel, and he comes out, and so now we have an answer back by Kelly Slater. Just as you were mentioning, don't ever count Slater out, and this should even things out quite nicely for Kelly Slater.
That score, I mean, for me, that was incredible. I mean, in my mind, it was a 10, but I love that they gave him the 9-7, left a little room for improvement, and I feel like we're going to see some amazing action coming up soon, because that was some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen on the foam ball. So let's go.
Yeah, Strider, one of the judges did agree with you and did give Slater a 10 for that wave that we're watching right now, but the average comes out as a high 9, a 9.73. Incredible. And not surprising, though, given the career that we've seen.
Now he's had 2 semifinal appearances here in Tahiti, as we see Yago Dora start in super deep, a wide open pit for the Brazilian, throwing shakas to the channel. What a way to start your morning.
It doesn't get cleaner than that. Look at the conditions. That was a beautiful wave, and the positioning on this wave, Joe, is what Yago is the king of that. So as you see it right here, wave starts smaller and just grows into the channel, gets wide, super thick, coming out just perfectly. Yeah, I mean, that was flawless from Yago. A little bit of a chandelier from Jordy's paddle right there, but he just didn't bother him, went through it. That big pump before the foam bowl. As you're going to see it right here, that second pump is what gave him all the drive and speed to go through all that foam and energy. And he's going to start very well. Mostly with what we've been seeing in the last few heats has been a little bit on the slow side. So that's a great start for Yago.
Starting off with the lead, still having the momentum. Scores out here as Cole locks in, heavy section, pulls up and under, disappears and celebrates. Another unbelievable ride. Cole is on a roll, picking the right waves, managing the scores pretty well. 6-1-7-7-5. Now 2 numbers to drop. Another angle here, Michelle.
It's a good drop. Like he managed to stay exactly where he needed to be. No pressure, no speed. Just be right there. And I'm pretty sure he's going to go straight to the first place. I mean, stay in the first place and probably get a high 7.
We're watching the Dream Tour. This is it right here, getting stand-up barrels and breaking down the differences. How about this angle, Jesse?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Look how dreamy that wave is. So clean, and he's using both of his hands to stall. Yeah, that's a great exchange. It's going to be a tight heat after this exchange, and I mean, with 8 minutes left, they're still going to have a good heat. And Italo going over right there, just looking into, is like, oh my gosh, like he's probably got the best wave of the heat, you know, as far as quality.
It's like a scene you'd see in the end section of your favorite movie, but it's happening live in a heat with points on the line for the title race. Cole had dropped to second, so needing at least a 6.54 here, Michelle.
Wow, he's going to get it for sure after that wave. Back out, and he knows that wave was good. Let's go. Italo is going for it. He's really deep.
And driving through, he's got the speed. Italo, a perfect exit.
That was crazy. That was a good one. That was the best wave of the heat so far. Cole knows it now.
Big numbers coming in for both these guys. Italo, one more time here, Jesse.
I mean, the length of the barrel, and he drove through the whole bank inside the barrel. As you see it right here, he just waits himself patiently, starts stalling with both hands once again, and then lets it go. This is the longest barrel we had. Very, very deep in the beginning, as you see it right there. You can't even see him, and then he slowed himself down again. Just a lot of technique and skills.
He's got the lead over John Florence in this matchup. John, next wave of the set. And John gets a pump in, lost in the barrel, and finds his way out. Great navigation by John Florence, and we have a paddle battle. We have a heat on our hand.
But for me, I mean, out the back, John just waited for this wave, and for good reason. I mean, that thing was an absolute nugget.
Yeah, check out this angle, and just how he's able to maneuver that board backhand through a grindy barrel, Michelle. So impressive.
That's crazy. He just got an 8.17 on that one, and you can see like he was pumping in the barrel the whole time, and that's something that not a lot of people can do. And just because you have to have that vision and to know exactly where you are in the barrel to be able to do that. And John is one of the best in the world, and that's the reason why he got it 8.17.
Yeah, John goes excellent. Strider, what do you got going out there?
John sidestepping, but Mihimana out the back, pulling into this thing deep. Beautiful tube ride right there. So he likes it. He's coming by, gonna kick out, spray us, and get back out there. Mihimana's gonna try and put himself right back into this thing.
Now I understand why he half claimed it, you know? Wow, that was crazy. We couldn't see that from the first angle we had. It's so technical. And Mihimana, wow.
It only happened once back in the day. As we see this read in the tube. Quick one. Out to the channel flick.
Yeah, beautifully done by Gabriel there. I mean, just sniffing around, trying to stay active. I mean, and just such a great read. I mean, he ended up right on the foam ball there at the end, and a bit of tube time. He's just trying to manufacture a couple of scores right now. I mean, this was pretty well done because he was deep on the takeoff there. He had to pump him a couple of times and then ended up right on the foam ball. So I feel like obviously this is going to be higher than his 3. He had to really pump through that first section. So, yeah, nice work.
To me, he's arguably the person that can manufacture a score.
Unbelievable. And now we're about to see another massive wave. Look at this thing. Oh my gosh. Gabriel Medina is going nuts. He's pumping through this thing. Poof! Are you kidding? Come on. What work do you want from Gabriel Medina right now?
210s?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's see it. Gabriel Medina deserves it. Is it a perfect heat? He is unbelievable. All the Groms want it from the channel. We're asking for 10s.
We looked at him, he said, have you had a perfect heat yet? 210s? And he was like, yeah, when I was a Grom.
Yeah, the king of the Groms. But what about now?
Wow. That
Pure
was just
elation, so much speed. What was the difference from his 10 before?
I honestly think this wave was bigger. Like, are you kidding? It was so good.
This wave was definitely bigger, 100%. You could drive a bus through this barrel. He was incredibly deep.
Oh.
The only difference with the one before was that he just had more time on the foam ball.
Yeah.
But this thing was a cavern. It was massive. The way it hit the reef, the circular sort of nature of this barrel, this thing was meaty. It had so much thickness to it. I honestly feel like it's got to be there. I mean, Tati, good luck. Get you in the booth. You got a 10 yesterday, and we're seeing them being thrown around already.
I thought you were going to bring that magic, and look at this. I mean, we haven't seen any signs of a score. We're right there with all the viewers around the world. And I can't really sit still because I'm like, it's got to happen.
Does
For all he's accomplished out here, for the way he took off on that previous ride, he got the wave of his life yesterday. One of the solid 9-point rides as we see Jake Marshall lock in. A nice positioning. He gets coned and blown out. So I love that even though he's got a severe combo, he still has his goal of getting really, really barreled.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, he knows the situation. I mean, it's a big, big combination. However, you can just see how stoked he is to come absolutely, you know, blowing out with the spit from that barrel. You're bored and you're drawing the perfect barrel. I mean, this is it, right? This is what you dream of. And you can just see right here that he's like, okay, look, I'll take it. This is amazing.
Hey.
It's time in the water. It's experience. I mean, that drop was insane. So late, actually. From that angle, you really realize just how technical that was. Taking off super late under the lip and grabs the rail there, comes out standing tall. Really well done.
So cool.
Total warrior is Jake Marshall when it comes to being competitive. He said it just was always natural for him to compete.
I feel like there was an exchange, and then bang, here we go. Look at this. Ryan Callinan falling out of the sky, pulling it up. Beautiful work to hold that line, just epic. And Ryan doing the lean back. He's feeling so good.
Gosh, that looks sensational. Thank you, Waz. Ryan Callinan. Ryan already has a 7.5. What are your thoughts on this one, Michelle?
Wow, that's such a clean one. He did it perfectly, perfect takeoff. Didn't even need to race in a barrel, you know, like he was at the right spot every single time. And I don't know, Barron's wave looked bigger maybe, the one after that. I felt like he should have kicked out earlier, because there's always 2 wave sets, you know. Maybe he could have get the priority after that, but it doesn't really matter because he got already got two big scores, and the pressure is on Barron right now.
Crazy drop, so much control, a lot of style, and just pure stoke from a man that's living his dreams.
Yeah, it could have been the easiest one, you know.
It was the easiest one.
Yeah. So we'll see. Kelly's going on that one.
Here we go, Slater. Hoops from the channel. Big open cave. He comes through in a big way, Kelly Slater, and continues his assault for the 20th year here at the end of the road. Felicity, I mean, I don't know. He's looking unstoppable.
Do his Kelly's thing. Like I didn't understand why he paddled on his first one. He probably wanted to get the second wave of the sets. You know, that's something that we have to think about and ask him later, because you know, obviously, like the second wave is always bigger, and that way, like Ramzi would have gone on the first one and him to be on the second wave of the set. So that worked out well.
That was such a big, roomy barrel for Slater, and he's rewarded.
You know, he's the kind of guy that should have been on tour like way earlier, you know. There we go.
Here we go, opportunity, long wall, couple of pumps here, way deep, way back in this barrel. Spin, and he comes out. Fired back, Ramzi, Boukhiam. Talk about rock and roll. Look at this, Michelle.
Hey, seriously, I gave up. I thought he wouldn't, like, he was way too deep. Look at that.
Oh, my.
I gave up on him. You know, I'm his friend, but I gave up on him to tell you that he was that deep in a barrel. That's incredible, man.
Oh, man, the 3 pumps before that and then having to clear that foam ball flick.
I feel the judges are going to love this, because anytime when someone has been on that foam ball for a prolonged period of time, the score has come through high, right? But he rode from behind the foam ball over the top of it and then projected out in front. It was insane. I mean, look at this angle. He just went through one whole big section. Like, the time on the foam ball for me has just been really the difference today. And I feel like that was the clearest demonstration of it.
Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. One judge goes 10, a 9.8. Ramzi, tenacity.
Yesterday, obviously, we had the men's elimination round, but for me, the women were the standout.
Oh, yeah.
It was insane. We'll get back to that in a second. Looks like Italo.
Italo under the hood, in the cave, in the cone, comes out. And Italo, big smiles in the channel. Peace sign. Feeling good. He's going to improve upon his heat total here.
It's in this heat. Let's have a look at this one. Italo super deep in this wave. I mean, absolutely pitted, coned. What a barrel, what a moment. This is definitely got to improve on that 6.5. I mean, he rode the foam ball there. We've seen today just how much the judges love that. So, yeah, I mean, he knows it too. Look how he's super happy, super excited. And,
you know, it's not just competition right now what's going down here at the end of the road. It's joy for these surfers. Just watching the smile beaming off of Italo's face coming out of that barrel.
You've just got to get as deep as possible. I mean, it's so easier said than done. Let's see what Yago can do here.
Oh, Yago with priority. Big, steep drop. Pulls up, double arm drag. Stays in front of that foam ball. Great feeling for Yago Dora. And he's looking to break himself off the chains of a combination that he's currently in.
This is just so beautiful. Look at this thing. He's not necessarily the deepest, but just in terms of a perfect barrel and, you know, what dreams are made of, I mean, that is it. You know, it was so big, so blue. Look at how that thing is folding in on itself.
Look at how he can't contain himself and the pure emotion on the exit of this huge cavern with that foam monster just chasing after him. It's like a dragon spitting on your back. Oh my goodness, second wave of the set. Italo Ferreira glides through, foamy face, amazing barrel riding by both Yago Dora and Italo. Italo kicks out nice and early to maintain priority in this heat and the lead.
And behind him, second wave of the set, Italo just so deep here. This one a bit more foamy, a bit more frothy, but I mean, in terms of conditions and surf and no wind.
Been seeing, as we see, oh my gosh.
Wow. Checking out the bracket. John's trying to put his name right into it. Coming out of another pit.
We're probably going to see the replay right here. Look, it's like a bigger wave, hollower. He stalls, control the speed in the beginning. That west ball comes and he just, you know already he's going to make it. That was a beautiful ride from him.
Brisa, what'd you see here?
Wow, I mean, just the way that his body is just leaning into the wave, his connection, that butt drag right from the start. You can really see his fins engage, and then he just slows down, and it just sets up perfectly. And gosh, that was just poetry in motion.
Total style and the willingness to take off really late straight into a slide. I don't know if anyone does that better than John Florence. Another view from here, Jesse.
Yeah, look how below sea level that wave is. It disappeared from a good portion right there on the bottom turn. And look at the positioning, just flawless, perfect. It's almost even hard to break it down right here because you can't even see the guy. He's that deep, and he's going to come out now, no hands. Perfect feet position, back foot just in front of the...
Even though Rio hasn't been here for a very long time, but enjoying another matchup, this being their fourth already in one-on-one heats on the biggest stage. Paddling for this one, John Florence pulls straight down the line, pointing towards the exit. This thing letting him go. And he will just breeze to the exit. These are the days that bring John to life.
The biggest thing is John is really picking the eyes out of which one he's looking for. You can see that Rio's ones are kind of a little more almondy, and that just hits the reef. He's just identifying the right ones. And yeah, this was a little bit of a smaller wave, but super long.
And every approach has been slightly different, just according to what he needs to do to get the big score, Jesse.
Yeah, but all of them had a lot of scoring potential, like Brisa mentioned. And let's just have a look right here. I guess we won't be able to see it, but all the pumps he had inside that barrel were with no hands. So that just shows how much control he is and how comfortable he is in the barrel. That was so impressive from him. This is going to be a mess.
You'd just be screaming your head off. But how about this? A little bit deeper, a little bit taller wave, and a big barrel for the man from the North Shore of Oahu, John Florence.
Break through that combination without priority, which is tough because John has been like just on the better waves on this heat so far. And that's basically the difference between the two surfers, because technique-wise, you see Rio looks flawless as well. Beautiful technique and just surfing as good as he can.
Impressed with John just being on the right waves at the right time, like you mentioned before, Brisa. But his willingness to take off so late. Talk about that approach on a wave like this.
Oh gosh, I can't even imagine. The edge, it's like you're on the edge of glory. It's like heaven and death.
You'd actually have the victory to move on. Still chatting with Vahine as we watch Medina roll into his first wave of this matchup. And just like Gabe does, he goes right into a perfect exit. And he will now take the lead.
Yeah, let's watch the replay.
Go ahead, Vahine. What did you see here?
I feel like Medina's the best at like stalling right at the takeoff. Like he stays super low and then pumps you and still like slowing down. But he's the best at doing that, like right at the takeoff, staying really low. So one of my favorite surfers.
Ryan, though, has an opportunity to answer. Pulls up and under. Stands up tall in the pit as it stretches out over the reef. A great read from the Australian. And this heat is starting to build. Nice and slow, and then just steps on the gas in comparison to Ryan's wave, Jesse.
Yeah, and that's what I mentioned. See how Ryan's wave actually stretched out a little bit more, and he was actually, for a longer period of time in the barrel, he was just cruising different approaches. He got very deep right there. Gabriel had to kind of manufacture that barrel.
That was one of those magic moments. Wow, we're going back to live quickly, driving through the pit and out into the daylight is Gabriel Medina, who's been very selective, but selecting really well. His 8 was a long time ago and didn't need much to take the lead. We'll see him transition into first now at 10:15 to go, Jesse.
Deep as you can get. Check this out. His behind, driving through that first and second pump, disappeared through the whole time, came out after the spit. That was a beautiful ride from him. Like, look at that pump. Like, his foot's moved so forward on the board, giving him that stability, giving him that drive that he needs to go through this foam monsters that you kind of have to deal with here at Te Ahupu'o.